Cultivating gratitude. Seeing with the eyes of gratitude. Gratitude does not begin as a mood you wait for. It begins as a way of seeing. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to look directly, gently, and without hurry at what is here. The breath moves in and out. The chest rises and falls. The light in the room changes slightly as a cloud passes. This simple, faithful looking reveals how much is already supporting us in each moment. Thich Nhat Hanh often says in Peace is Every Step that mindfulness is a kind of light that shows us the wonders of life. And when that light is present, we discover we are already held by more than we knew. Gratitude is what naturally blooms in that light. This blooming does not require dramatic events. In fact, it is easier with small things. The warmth of a cup in your hands, the sound of rain finding the roof, the way a friend's voice softens when they say your name. When we notice a small goodness and allow attention to rest there, gratitude rises on its own. No pushing is needed. The body recognizes nourishment and relaxes. The mind stops bargaining with the future for permission to be happy. In the miracle of mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh calls this touching life, and he insists that touching can be immediate. You don't need to wait for a perfect day. You can touch the goodness of this breath, this sip of water, this step across the floor. Gratitude as a practice is different from positive thinking. Positive thinking often tries to paint a smile over pain. Gratitude, in the way Thich Nhat Hanh teaches it, is honest and wide enough to include both the mud and the lotus. In No Mud, No Lotus, he reminds us that joy is not the denial of suffering. It is the ability to hold suffering and still see the many conditions for happiness that remain. On days when grief sits in the chest like a stone, gratitude may simply be the recognition that you are still breathing, that someone grew and gathered the food you are about to eat, that the earth is still turning and carrying you with it. This is not pretending things are fine. It is remembering that even in difficulty, life keeps offering you threads of support. From a psychological perspective, this clear, steady noticing matters. Researchers have repeatedly found that people who deliberately recognize and savor everyday blessings report greater well-being, better sleep, and more resilience during stress. Robert Emmons writes in Thanks that gratitude acts like a lens that brings overlooked gifts into focus and strengthens our capacity to cope. Martin Seligman describes in Flourish how simple exercises, recalling 3 good things at the end of a day or writing a letter of appreciation, can lift mood and broaden attention. Thich Nhat Hanh's language is different from academic psychology, but the heart of the method is the same. Attention is the doorway. When you attend to what is nourishing, you are nourished. Gratitude grows even deeper when we look with the insight of interbeing. In the heart of understanding, Thich Nhat Hanh shows how a sheet of paper contains clouds. Without clouds, there is no rain. Without rain, no trees. Without trees, no paper. He invites us to realize that everything leans on everything. Gratitude then becomes more than, thank you for this thing I like. It becomes a recognition of the countless conditions, sunlight, soil, labor, time, that meet in any one moment to sustain your life. You lift a piece of bread and can feel the field, the farmer, the mill, the baker, the driver, the shop. You realize nothing arrives alone. Gratitude in this vision is not a polite reaction. It is a way of belonging to the world. Wonders that are already here. There is a sentence Thich Nhat Hanh loves to offer: to suffer is not enough. He never says this to minimize pain, but to remind us that pain is not the only truth available. Alongside sorrow, there is also a blue sky. Alongside fear, there is still the capacity to breathe. Alongside the ache of loss, There is still the touch of a hand and the sound of a bell. In silence, he writes that the practice is to be in contact with refreshing and healing elements that are around us and within us, so we have enough strength to take care of what is difficult. Gratitude is this contact made conscious. Begin with the body. Your eyes right now are working on your behalf, bringing light and color and shape to your awareness. In The Art of Living, Thich Nhat Hanh invites us to smile to our eyes with gratitude, to recognize how miraculous they are and how much they have allowed us to see. The heart is beating. The lungs are exchanging air with the world. The skin is holding you together with quiet intelligence. Each of these can be an object of gratitude. When you bring attention to them with a soft smile, you may feel a subtle warmth spread through your chest, as if the body recognizes being seen and says yes. Move next to the world outside your skin. Thich Nhat Hanh sometimes asks us to look at a flower until we can truly perceive it. In How to See, he explains that when concentration is present, the flower is no longer an object you glance at. It becomes a teacher. You begin to see sunlight in the petals, rain in the stem, and the long patience of the earth in the roots. This is not poetry alone. It is perception. Gratitude arises because you are seeing truly. The world reveals itself as generous. Even the air is a gift passing in and out of you unceasingly. In Love Letter to the Earth, he speaks of drinking clouds when we drink tea. To drink tea with this insight is to feel gratitude with every swallow. Because we habitually overlook the ordinary, Thich Nhat Hanh offers gathas, short verses, to bring mindfulness to simple acts. Washing vegetables, he suggests noticing a green sun shining within the leaves, a way of remembering that sunlight has been transformed into nourishment. When you hold a piece of bread, he invites the contemplation that the whole universe is in it. Gratitude here is not a mood you try to summon. It is the accurate recognition of reality's generosity. Modern science echoes this practice in its own language. Studies of savoring show that lingering 10 seconds longer on a pleasant perception strengthens memory, expands attention, and calms the nervous system. The nervous system learns from what we repeatedly attend to. If we feed it a steady diet of emergency and problem solving, it becomes a hair trigger for emergency. If we feed it a steady diet of quiet, texture, warmth, and wonder, it becomes quicker to recognize goodness and slower to panic. Barbara Fredrickson's research in positivity describes how positive emotions broaden and build, expanding our mental repertoire and resilience. Thich Nhat Hanh would say simply, touch the good often so you have enough joy to hold your suffering gently when it arrives. The heart of this section is simple. The wonders are here. Gratitude asks only that we see them. It asks that we return over and over to what is already given: breath, earth, light, companionship, the chance to start again, and let these gifts register in the body until appreciation is no longer an idea, but a living feeling. The practice of remembering. Gratitude is natural, but in a distracted culture, it must also be intentional. The point is not to force yourself to be grateful when you are hurting. The point is to create steady conditions in which gratitude can show itself. Thich Nhat Hanh gives us simple forms. He begins with stopping. In Peace is Every Step, he calls stopping the first miracle of mindfulness, the ability to halt the constant running and simply be. When you stop and take 3 conscious breaths, you have already stepped out of the trance of scarcity. Stopping, even for a few moments, creates space for appreciation to enter. You can do this anywhere. A phone chimes, the bell of mindfulness, and you pause. The kettle boils, you pause. You open a door, you pause. In the pause, feel 1 in-breath and 1 out-breath. Let the shoulders drop a fraction. Ask, very softly, what goodness is available right now? The answer may be small. Small is enough. Next, He invites deep looking. This means staying with an object, your breath, a cup of tea, the face of someone you love, long enough for its layers of support to appear. In The Miracle of Mindfulness, he writes that the first miracle mindfulness offers is your real presence. The second is the recognition of the other's presence. If you sit with a cup of tea long enough to truly sense its warmth, fragrance, and weight, gratitude becomes less conceptual and more embodied. You are not grateful about the tea, you are grateful with the tea. Your body and mind are united in appreciation. He also teaches the practice of remembering our roots. Gratitude widens when we remember our ancestors, blood, land, and spirit, who made our life possible. In many talks, he encourages touching the earth as a gesture of gratitude, kneeling and placing your forehead on the ground to feel the support of the planet and all the generations beneath you. As he explains in The Art of Living, when you breathe with this awareness, you can feel your grandmother's breath in yours, your teacher's kindness in your smile, your community's endurance in your step. Gratitude becomes a living thread through time. You are not an isolated self, but a continuation. He gives us, too, the practice of thankful speech. In The Art of Communicating, he reminds us that words are nourishment. To say, "I see your effort and I'm grateful," or "Thank you for washing the dishes tonight," is not trivial. It is a way of watering wholesome seeds in another person and in yourself. He instructs us to be specific and present tense, to speak gratitude while the warmth is fresh. This trains the mind to look for what is working and to cultivate it. Families and teams that share such acknowledgments grow more resilient because appreciation acts like connective tissue. It helps a group remember why they are together. There is also the practice of mindful eating as gratitude in action. In How to Eat, Thích Nhất Hạnh recommends pausing before a meal to recite the 5 contemplations, not as rigid ritual, but as a way to touch the reality of interbeing. This food is the gift of the universe. May I eat with mindfulness and gratitude. May I recognize and transform unwholesome states. May I keep compassion alive by the way I consume. May I use this food to walk the path of understanding and love. When these sentences are felt rather than recited, a meal becomes communion. Gratitude, then, is not an add-on. It is the flavor of eating. Scientific work again meets the Dharma here. Emmons and McCullough's studies on gratitude journaling suggest that writing down a few genuine appreciations several times a week can change one's outlook within a month. The effectiveness is not in the length of the list, but in the sincerity of attention. Thích Nhất Hạnh would encourage us to translate this into embodied practice. At the end of a day, sit for 3 breaths and let your body feel one good moment you experienced, perhaps the warmth of sunlight on your face or the relief after a difficult conversation was resolved. Let the image settle in your chest like a small lantern. This is journaling with the breath. Over time, the nervous system learns that it is safe to rest in gratitude, and the lamp grows brighter. Finally, he offers a practice of gratitude for ourselves. Many of us can thank others, but struggle to thank our own body, mind, and effort. In How to Relax, he suggests smiling to your body, part by part, acknowledging their work. Dear eyes, thank you for bringing me the world today. Dear heart, thank you for beating without my asking. This is not vanity, it is reconciliation. When we stop fighting ourselves, appreciation becomes natural. The smile we offer inwardly is the root of the smile we can offer outwardly. Gratitude as a pathway to joy. When gratitude is watered regularly, joy appears with less effort. Joy, in this tradition, is not the ecstatic high that depends on special circumstances. It is the steady contentment of being present and appreciative of what is already there. In The Art of Living, Thich Nhat Hanh says that true happiness is made of understanding and love, and both grow in the soil of mindfulness. Gratitude is mindfulness turned toward blessings. It becomes a gate to joy because it continually returns us to enough. Consider how gratitude alters the day. Without it, we may wake and immediately begin negotiating with the future. I'll feel okay when this email is sent, when that person replies, when the meeting is over, when I get home. With gratitude practice, the first minutes after waking can be dedicated to noticing one good condition: breath, shelter, the possibility of a new start. This small shift has disproportionate power because it tunes the mind to a different frequency. Throughout the morning, gratitude finds what is nourishing: the coffee's aroma, a humorous message from a friend, the simple order of a clean sink. As you notice and savor these, you are not ignoring problems. You are building inner resources. By afternoon, when a difficulty arrives, you have more calm and warmth available to meet it. Joy, then, is not fragile. It does not collapse when a plan changes or a conversation turns tense. It has depth because it is rooted in intimacy with reality rather than in control. In Being Peace, Thich Nhat Hanh teaches that peace is every step, a line that also reveals how joy works. If peace is possible in a step, so is joy, because joy is the natural response to being fully alive in a step. The eyes register a patch of sky. The foot feels the support of the ground. The breath moves freely. In that convergence, gratitude and joy are not separate. They are the same warmth recognized by different names. Gratitude also changes relationships. In The Art of Communicating, Thich Nhat Hanh explains that loving speech and deep listening are expressions of gratitude. When we thank someone for their presence or effort, we are saying, "I see you," which is the essence of love. This simple acknowledgement softens defenses and encourages more of the behavior being named. In families and teams, a culture that highlights genuine contributions becomes more resilient and creative. Gratitude is contagious. It invites others to look for goodness and to offer it. The ethical dimension is important. In the Buddhist tradition, the second mindfulness training encourages generosity and responsibility in consumption. Gratitude naturally points us toward less waste and more care. When you are grateful for water, you do not let it run without attention. When you are grateful for food, you are less likely to consume mindlessly. In Love, Letter to the Earth, Thich Nhat Hanh writes that falling in love with the earth leads to a change in our way of life, not out of guilt, but out of appreciation. Joy flourishes when our actions align with our love. A grateful life tends to be a simpler life, and a simpler life often holds more room for joy. There is also a spiritual joy that gratitude opens, a joy that is not opposed to sorrow but lives alongside it. In moments of grief, gratitude may be the felt presence of a friend who sits with you, saying nothing but refusing to leave. It may be the memory of your grandmother's hands teaching you to knead dough, the recognition that her kindness moves through you still. In The Art of Living, Thich Nhat Hanh describes how touching our ancestors and descendants in the present moment can give us strength to face suffering. Gratitude here is a thread through time. Joy is the warmth of being woven into something larger than any single day's pain. A gentle discipline for everyday life. Because habit energy pulls us towards speed and comparison, cultivating gratitude asks for gentle discipline. The word discipline here does not mean severity, it means faithfulness. It means choosing to return again and again to what is nourishing. Thich Nhat Hanh offers a handful of faithful returns that make gratitude durable. Return to the breath. Several times a day, at thresholds, with bells, at meals. Let your breath be a small homecoming. When you feel your in-breath arrive and your out-breath leave, say quietly, "This is enough." Not because you are denying what is difficult, but because this one breath is already a gift, and your nervous system needs practice recognizing gifts. Return to the body. Smile to your eyes, your heart, your hands. Thank them. As you walk, feel the support of the ground and the kindness of gravity holding you close to the earth. In How to Walk, Thich Nhat Hanh invites us to kiss the earth with our feet. Gratitude becomes physical in such steps. When you are embodied, appreciation is no longer abstract. It is felt in bones and skin. Return to the ordinary. Wash a bowl with the care you would offer a sacred object. Pour tea with full attention. Open a window and notice the exact temperature of the air entering. In The Miracle of Mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh insists that enlightenment is not separate from washing dishes or growing lettuce. Gratitude grows fastest where life is simplest, because there the mind can truly arrive. Return to each other. Say thank you often and specifically. Thank you for listening without interrupting. Thank you for the email you sent so carefully. Thank you for bringing a smile into the room. In The Art of Communicating, Thich Nhat Hanh calls this watering positive seeds. When you water what is wholesome in another, you also water it in yourself. Over time, your home or workplace becomes a garden where gratitude and joy are the default climate. Return to the earth. Touch the ground with your hand or your forehead. Feel how steady it is. In Love, Letter to the Earth, Thich Nhat Hanh writes as a child of the earth to their mother, expressing love and responsibility. Reading or writing your own letter of thanks to a river, to a city tree, to the night sky can reawaken awe. Awe is a close companion of gratitude. Together they mature into reverence, and reverence naturally shapes our choices. Return to your teachers and ancestors. Light a candle for them, not only those in robes or books, but also the people who made you more human. Thank the coach who believed in you, the neighbor who looked out for you, the nurse who held your hand. In The Art of Living, Thich Nhat Hanh teaches that we are a continuation, not a separate self. Gratitude here becomes identity. I am made of gifts. From this recognition, humility and courage arise together. This discipline is not heavy, it is tender and realistic. It allows for days when gratitude feels distant. On those days, keep the form small. 3 breaths, 1 mindful step, a hand on the heart for the length of a slow exhale. Thich Nhat Hanh would tell you that these small fidelities are themselves reasons for gratitude. You are practicing, you are returning, you are alive to try again. Gratitude, courage, and the world. Gratitude is sometimes misunderstood as a private emotion, but in Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching, it has public consequences. When we are grateful, we are less defensive and more generous. We are quicker to share because we see how much we have received. In Creating True Peace, he explains that peace in society begins with peace in the individual, and that daily practices of mindfulness ripple outward as understanding and compassion. Gratitude is one of those daily practices. It strengthens the inner conditions, steadiness, perspective, warmth, that make nonviolent action possible. This does not mean we become passive. On the contrary, gratitude gives us courage. When you are rooted in appreciation for the earth, you act to protect it. When you are grateful for your community, you work to make it safer and more just. Gratitude connects responsibility to love. It keeps activism from being fueled only by anger. Anger can be a spark, but it burns out and leaves ashes if it is not fed by deeper sources. Gratitude is renewable energy for the long work of healing. In interfaith dialogue, Thich Nhat Hanh often notes resonances across traditions. The Psalms overflow with thanksgiving. Muslim prayers begin in praise. Hindu and Sikh songs celebrate the beloved's gifts. Indigenous traditions offer ceremonies of thanks for water, land, and harvest. Gratitude is a common language of the human spirit. When we speak it sincerely, we find kinship, even where beliefs differ. Kinship itself is a cause for gratitude, and it makes cooperation possible in difficult times. Gratitude also softens perfectionism. Many of us delay appreciation until conditions are flawless. The house clean, the inbox empty, the body slim, the conflict fully resolved. Thich Nhat Hanh invites us to practice gratitude before perfection in the midst of life's beautiful mess. He suggests the small mantra, "This is a happy moment," not because the moment is spectacular, but because it is real and ours. In such realism, joy becomes available many times a day. The nervous system learns that goodness can be found without delay. The heart stops postponing its own warmth. Finally, gratitude ripens into freedom. When we are grateful for each breath, we are no longer held hostage by constant dissatisfaction. When we are grateful for the conditions we do have, we can act wisely to improve what needs improving without the corrosive belief that nothing is ever enough. In the heart of the Buddha's teaching, Thich Nhat Hanh explains that true happiness has the taste of freedom, freedom from craving, from wrong perception, from running. Gratitude is one path to that taste because it loosens the grip of more and returns us to this breath, this hand, this sky, a closing practice. Set the book down for a moment and try this short practice. Sit in a way that feels both dignified and kind. Let your hands rest where they do not need to work. Close your eyes if that helps. Take a natural in-breath, and on the out-breath, let the jaw soften. Feel the gentle movement at the base of the ribs. On the next in-breath, think or whisper, "Thank you for this breath." You are not thanking a distant figure. You are acknowledging the mystery of life moving through you. On the out-breath, let the words "I am here" arise. Do this for 3 breaths. Open your eyes and rest them on something ordinary, a mug, a leaf, a small patch of sunlight on the floor. Allow your attention to land and stay. Sense texture, temperature, shape. If it is food or drink, bring it to your lips and taste slowly. If it is simply light, let yourself receive its warmth. Notice if a quiet appreciation begins in the chest. Do not try to make it larger. Let it be exactly the size it is. You are practicing gratitude as contact. Before you stand, bring to mind one person, living or dead, whose presence in your life is a blessing. See if one specific quality or moment arises, a phrase they offered you, a time they showed up, a kindness they taught you by example. Let your body feel that memory for 2 breaths. If it feels right, speak a few words of thanks aloud or silently. This is the practice of watering wholesome seeds. Now stand and take 3 slow steps. With the first step, I have arrived. With the second, I am home. With the third, thank you. The words are not magic. They are reminders. Gratitude is not far away. It is always one breath wide. Gratitude, in Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching, is not a task to add to a crowded list. It is the fruit of mindful seeing and the root of quiet joy. It is how we learn to live in the world as it is, with open eyes and a steady heart. When we notice the small wonders faithfully, they lead us back to a larger wonder, that we are alive at all, moving and breathing on a planet that keeps feeding us light. In this recognition, joy does not have to be hunted, it simply blossoms. And from that blossoming comes the strength to love well, to work for healing, and to walk this life with a thankful, courageous step.